Thanks.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thanks to Agriculture Information Technical team for providing platform to share my views on understanding the residue management and in organic farming practices and its solution. This is Dr. Dinesh Goswami. I am agriculture scientist. Just we all are know that the organic farming and we all are familiar with the organic farming. So I'm not going to talk much about organic farming, but just I'm sharing my views on as we know the present day within India and in the world is mainly, in my view, the agriculture with the help of intensive use of chemical pesticide, fertilizer, and mechanical equipments. So, about all, nowadays in almost all corner of the countries and all countries of the world, dominated by industrial agriculture. We are facing so many problems and issues due to that. So we have just narrated the solution for it. The most before going further, I am just narrated that the residue management. Residue, there are two kind of residue. One is on-farm residue that is produced in dry form or in green form, and another residue that we consider as a pesticide and fertilizer residues detected in farm produce commodities like vegetable, fruits, what we are eating. In that, the residue are coming. The mostly the category of that chemical and pesticide residues are these are the mostly category that we know that heavy chemical and pesticide using by our farmers, mostly organophosphate, carbamides, pyrethroid, carbamates, and neonicotinoids. These are the broad categories of the pesticides group that farmers are using as on date in our countries as well as in other countries also. And residues from these are the major of pesticide and chemicals are coming in our food chain, and that caused health issues in human being as well as our precious microflora and fauna as well as our animals also. Its major impact of residue of pesticide and fertilizer that are the mostly negative impact on climate, soil, human health, groundwater, and our microflora and fauna. These are the most affected areas due to pesticide and fertilizer residues. Present day, as I told earlier, that we are in the industrial era of agriculture. The industrialization era of agriculture because farmers belong to farming land. They have their own objective to earn money and to run their family. So they have to do whatever farming practice is recommended by public institute research organization or those companies who are involved in input manufacturing, pesticide, fertilizer, and seeds. They have narrated the guideline, and according to them, they have to utilize the input, and that's a I say it's a industrial agriculture. Why it is required? Because we know the fast growing human population in the world as well as in our country also, they require food at least to feed our own. So this is our major challenge, and that's why industrial agriculture is required. Another aspect is drastically decreasing in arable land, because whatever agriculture land is for use for farming, nowadays it's drastically decreasing because there's a conversion of agriculture land into construction area, in roads and building and infrastructure development. So whatever agriculture arable land is available is day by day decreasing. And the limited land resources on the planet, it is not possible to increase the arable land, because whatever possibility of arable land is available in respective countries are almost explored. So there is a decreasing and drastic increasing in arable. So we have only challenge is to increase the productivity per unit. That is the only option available as on date with us to feed the ever growing population of the world. Now, the adverse effect of industrial agriculture we are facing, some of the issues that I am just narrating, that soil degradation is the major issue due to chemical and fertilizer and pesticide uses, indiscriminate use of the chemical fertilizer and pesticide, increasing susceptibility in crop against pest disease due to loss of microactivities in farming land, climate changes, unpredictable weather for farming, increasing health-related issues due to chemical residue in human and animals. Major adverse effect of industrial agriculture is the loss of biodiversity due to monocropping and omitting crop rotation system in farming, and other traditional method of farming are not, it is a part of modern agriculture or industrial agriculture. So we are losing too much biodiversity in the form of flora and fauna both. What happened ultimately? The adverse effect of industrial agriculture leads to a penetration of chemical residue in human food chain. Nowadays, many health issues are arising that are not common before 40, 50 years ago. But due to use of chemical pesticide and fertilizer, the residue of chemical pesticide and fertilizers are come into the food chain. And due to that, human health issues are arise, and many new diseases and many health issues are developed since 30, 40 years back. Now, what are the solutions to manage the residue? I am talking about the residue of pesticide and chemical fertilizer. Farm produce residues used in organic farming is another topic, but today I am concentrating on solution to managing pesticide and fertilizer residues coming in our food chain with the following measures. So I have just narrated from A to Z solution. I try to provide in A to Z form to tackle the issues of residues. First, A. A means agriculture and animal husbandry. Agriculture in broad sense, animal husbandry, it's to deal with the animals that both milking animal and other kind of animal husbandry. Agriculture in broad sense, everything is there: vegetable, cereal, pulses, forestry, all together are considered in one agriculture. Second is biodiversity. Biodiversity, how is helpful to managing residue? Yes, biodiversity is helpful. By which way? Biodiversity provides the chain and cycle, natural cycle to survive the all flora and fauna in harmony with the nature. They are not harm to anyone. Everyone is living and everyone is helping, and symbiotic relationship each other they are maintaining due to enough biodiversity. In today's agriculture, we lost this biodiversity aspect. As a result of that, we require additional input like fertilizer and pesticides, because crop health is coming down, and due to susceptibility, we have to use pesticide, fertilizer, and outside other nutrients we require to apply, because soil degradation is there. Monocropping and over an intense farming practices followed by the farmers since many times. So biodiversity we have lost. By managing the biodiversity, we can manage the pesticide and that fertilizer residue with good amount. Third is carbon sequestration. We know nowadays the carbon credit and many government projects are going on in India as well as in abroad also for carbon credit program. That is carbon sequestration. Because industrial agriculture and modern farming, we are doing many wrong farming practices like plowing for shallow land in mainly in summer, lack of crop rotation, lack of mixed crop pattern. All these are the aspects damaging to our climate. So carbon sequestration helps in that way. We have to manage the weeds, not kill the weeds, because weeds are also one of the key component of the ecology. By keeping enough plant population in land to avoid and mainly during summer, we have to be show anything else which require very less water that can help to accumulate the atmospheric carbon dioxide and other gases into the soil. And by that, ultimately, we can get the sequestration and we can play a little role in managing the global warming also. Third one, next one is debris management. In farming, every year we are producing quantities and tons of farm produces like after in mainly in paddy growing and wheat growing area in mainly in India, Punjab and Haryana. After taking wheat crop and paddy crop, farmers are used to burn their residues by just igniting it. And they are burning everything at farm. And that creates too much problem in climate. And Delhi, every winter, we are facing that issue because of the burning that debris at farm. But instead of that, we can utilize that debris to recycle it to manufacture the organic manure or compost we can prepare even by making pellets we can use in industries or as a fuel. So additional little value addition is required to manage the debris, and that's the one of the way to manage the debris. Another aspect is erosion of the soil. Erosion of the soil, in one photograph we are just seeing that because of the heavy rain and because of deep plowing and tilling every year, topsoil is get tilled, and due to sometimes heavy rains occur, the soil get eroded. And absence of vegetations also play a vital role in erosion of the. So, in my perspective, in my view, if we are managing the soil with ground cover and keep all time greenery on the field, that helps to avoid in the erosion of the soil. Another one is the fungi and bacteria restoration. This is also one of the major aspects in because in agriculture we are using too much chemical pesticides that helps in managing the pest damaging to the crop. But another way that chemical harms to the soil fungi and bacteria, and they are killing for endless time, and they are not getting recycled or regenerate due to continuous of pesticides in the topsoil of the farming land. So we are losing the precious soil fungi and bacteria that are the major key partner of the store, the whole ecology and ecosystem. So that's why if we manage the fungi and bacteria, that can also indirectly help to manage intensity of the pesticide and fertilizer. Next one, ground cover of each area of, as I said earlier, there should not be any empty land. Something should be growing at field level at every corner of the field. That helps a lot to prevent help in the erosion, soil erosion, to maintain the soil temperature, to survive for the soil microbial in the topsoil. So many things are catered by the ground cover, and it directly and indirectly helpful to the farming land. Another one is the hand tools utilization. Nowadays, in modern agriculture and in industrial agriculture, we are using heavy equipments like tractor and heavy loaded equipments, farm tools we are using for farming our land. But instead of, if possible, or in interculturing or in some preparation of land. Hand tools are the helpful tools to manage the residue in the soil because again heavy equipment damage the topsoil of the soil and also microbial activity also disturbed due to movement of the heavy equipment on the soil. Another is intercropping. This is also one of the key components for managing the residue of the pesticide and fertilizer. Why? Because intercropping, we are following the monocot dicot combination. Monocot, that are the cereal crops, and dicot, they are the legume crops. Legume crops help to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil, and cereal crops are bound to the soil because they have fibrous root system. Both crop are complementary to each other, and that's why the farm ecology is maintained by intercropping, and by this application we can manage the residue of many chemical and pesticide in organic farming. Then justifiable crop selection. At present, farmers have much choice for selection of the crop because farmers are money oriented, but obvious because they are earning of the money is only soil and land farming, and farming land is the only one resources for them to fulfill their basic requirement. So even though many crops they can not afford, and they are not getting enough minimum support price even though the farmers have no choice to select a crop. In that case, justified crop selection is important because that crop is not only helpful to soil and climate, but that crops also add additional income to the farmers also to get their survival. Another is the knowing and sharing, know-how sharing. Many farmers are adopting good farming practices, sustainable farming practices, minimum optimum utilization of water, minimum tillage, like many fundamental things are many experienced farmers are doing. So if some farmers are not adopting proper practices, so they have to share each other and among each other, and as a government or as a organization or non-profit organization, NGO, many good agricultural organization, institution are working already on that to take away the farmers of one area to another area to next area, to share the ideas of the farmers of on-farm practices that can help to manage residue at a certain level. Next one is the living soil. Because living soil is not a physical entity. Soil is a combination of physical, chemical, and biological properties. Right? First right of soil is for the flora and fauna. Because flora and fauna have the first right to live on the soil. And after that, human being have right to survive on that. But at present, we are ignoring the flora and fauna, and human intervention are too much in the soil that create damage to the living soil and damaging to the flora and fauna also. But if the flora and fauna in the center of the mind, we can manage the soil residue to a certain level. Another one is mulching, preferably farm residue. Mulching, there are two kind of mulching. One is live mulching, and which another is chemical or polythene mulching. But in here, my case, I am recommending the mulching, preferably farm residue, mulch with the farm residue, because every year farmers in each season producing their different crops. After getting their commodity, or supposing wheat, suppose farmers getting wheat, after getting wheat, the straw is the costliest material and precious material available with the farmer. That material they can use for mulch. So like that, even many advantage of mulching is scientifically proven and helpful to ecology, maintaining the ecology. Like doing mulching, there is a requirement of irrigation water is drastically reduction. Second one, soil temperature is maintained. Result of maintaining soil temperature, the microbial activities that flora and fauna present in the soil of the farming land, they can enjoy the life and ecology, and they are multiplying infinite time. And that helps to measure main crops to grow better and yield better. So mulching is also one of the major components to manage the residue, because residue is comes due to utilization of pesticide. If mulch are using, then there is requirement is reduction in the requirement, because the crop itself become healthy. So if healthy crop is there, then there is very little possibility of susceptibility for against pesticide, pest and diseases, and that's why there is a reduction in the consumption of the chemical pesticide and fertilizer. Another aspect is nitrogen. Maximum utilized nitrogen gas available. We all are aware that the nitrogen is abundantly available in the atmosphere, but not in usable form for the crops or plants. So if we add nitrogenous or leguminous crop in our cropping system, that can help to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil, and indirectly that helps to reduction in the uses of chemical fertilizers. And as we know, nitrogenous fertilizer, mainly ammonical fertilizer, are many adverse effect, because they release the ammonia gas into the atmosphere, and that harm to the climate, as well as leaching into the soil, and that nitrogenous fertilizer pollute our groundwater also. So just incorporating the leguminous crop along with cereal crops in our farming practices helps a lot in managing both things. Next one is organic stuff utilization from the farm. As I said earlier, in organic farming, there are so many crops are growing all together within plot. Every crop produces stuff. Every crop produces, suppose vegetable crops, after taking vegetables, there are so too much residues are produced in the field that can be reused and reutilized for the preparing the compost, and that can be helpful in the managing practices and productivity. Another one is the pollinator and ecology creation. Pollination is the major in the farming, because without pollution there is no sales. If farmers have good land, good seed, good quality, absence of pollinator or absence of any honeybees or any pollinator, that can reduce directly or indirectly in yield losses. And pollinator, that's a very important aspect of the ecology of farming. If there is a indiscriminate use of pesticide and fertilizer, there is a lack of pollinator like honeybee and butterflies, and that can reduce the pollination activity. That's why drastic reduction in the setting as well as in the ultimately in the yield of the crop. So presence of pollinator is also important, but it can be possible if in farming land there is a no use or minimum use of pesticide or chemical fertilizer. Another one is quality food in center rather than quantity. In a major aspect, quality food is the major concern rather than quantity, because at present farmers have only one objective, to yield or to get maximum. They are losing the quality, because quality is not that much considered, because the rate available in the market is based on the quantity, not quality. There are in so many commodities, there only quality parameters are considered in some of the crop, and quantity is the only major things to get the price. Next one is regenerative farming. In option to modern agriculture and industrial agriculture, regenerative farming is the not a full environmental or new concept, but regenerative farming is the one of the best solution to get away from the pesticide and chemical fertilizer residues, and to get the quality foods and maintain the overall ecosystem and global warming issues. Regenerative farming is the one of the best solution if farmers adopt very properly. Next is silvipastoral farming system. In uh, before independence in India, there are combination of agriculture and animal husbandry. In same piece of land, there is a food crop growing for the human being as well as pastoral. That is, the few part of lands are available and dedicatedly allocated for the animal also, and they are naturally grazed to the land. Natural grazing is very good practices for the keeping healthy animals and to quality produce of milk. But nowadays it's not possible due to overpopulation and limited resources. But at any case, at any some time, there is possibility if farmers have resources, enough resources, there should be integration of silvopastoral farming system. That model also helpful. Then tilling soil and minimum zero tillage. Tilling soil also alarming because of soil erosion issue is arise. Another microflora and fauna activity is disturbed due to deep tilling and repeatedly and frequent tilling. So minimum or zero tillage is the fundamental aspect to get the better farming practices. Another one is urban farming. Urban farming, there are many kinds of farming practices are there. Rooftop farming, vertical farming, community or kitchen garden, indoor farming, hydroponic, microgreens, aquaponics. They are the recently many new farming practices are adopted at in urban farming. So these are the also options to get residue-free food products by adopting the organic inputs and regenerative farming practices. Next one is value addition concept. To get residue-free management, value addition is also one of the major concern in earning the farmers' income. Another one is the water is very precious and costly, and on we can say no any words to say that nothing is replaced water, and water is required to grow crops. And over utilization of water creates problem also. Another one is the addition of unnecessary salt, which are in the irrigation water and that are added to the soil and that cause damage to the soil and degraded to the soil in long term. Instead of that, we have to follow the optimum utilization by managing the water for like sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation, fogger system. Many options are available and minimum utilization and the selection of crop is also possible to incorporate in our system that can require minimum water and that can produce more yield. Another one is xerophytic farming integration. Xerophytic farming integration in that the xerophytic, this is the one example is the aloe vera. In farming practices, there are farmers following monocropping system. In major land, we are not recommending to grow for xerophytic farming, but in border of the farmland, farmers can adopt the xerophytic crops. That helps to manage the atmospheric humidity as well as to add on the additional income to the farmers to get from that xerophytic plant system. And xerophytic plant category is one of the good key component to maintain the ecology sustainable and reproducible. Last one, yield enhancement and zero farm waste. Yield enhancement is possible by adopting these obviously A to W points I narrated. These all are integration, not only one aspect or one point can help to enhance the yield, but incorporation and integrated approach of nutrient management, fertilizer management, water management that can help to enhance the yield. and ultimately farmers get benefit by uh, adopting the whole different aspect altogether in parcel of land. Last one is zero farm waste. In this, I want to suggest the reuse and recycle concept because there are so many things are available that we can reuse and recycle for our farming practices, and that can help us to reduce in the consumption of petrol, diesel, mechanical equipment, machineries. That helps to lot in reduction in the residues of the crops available in the system. These all are from my side. Thanks. Now I can suggest to host for open discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Dinesh, for the presentation. Now I will take up some questions. Before that, I will check with Mr. Joseph Rito if you would like to ask anything.
Thank you, Rajni. Thank you, Dr. Goswami, for a very nice presentation.
Yeah, thanks.
See, these days, especially in the exports of the foods and these spice powders and things like that, they use ethylene oxide.
Yes.
They use in very small quantities, but which will not affect the quality or anything. It is just to avoid, to keep it fresh. But
Yes.
still, after it is exported, the residues are still visible, especially with the foreign exporters and buyers, who have got equipment which can trace even small minimum quantity. What is the way
Yes.
to overcome this, please?
Yes, very right said, sir. It's really because this is the recently in recent past in from European countries, our many exporters are facing this issue, and
Yes.
actually, in suppose I belong to in Gujarat, in is the spice hub of India, or we can say in world, we can know that the spices, majority spices like mainly cumin, ajwain, coriander, exported from Gujarat mostly. What, sir, I feel that regarding that special particular issue, this is the to protect their commodity from the store gain priest. So there is no any other role, just they are protecting their commodity by effect of the store gain priest. So there is a actually there is no harmful effect if they did it with optimum or standardized protocol, but the exporter are not following proper protocol to treat their commodity, and over treating of that particular gas, it get it become as a residue, and it is alarming. So there is in my point of concern that there should be treatment of moisture, because moisture is the major constraint. If there is a sufficient or optimum moisture in commodities, so there is no need to treat like chemical with this. And these are this issue we can sort out by not applying that particular things or treatment with that ethanol. But that during processing, the moisture level should be optimum, not below standard, not above standard. That's why this is the one practical solution that in my study or in my sharing the experience of other exporter, we found that if the moisture we can manage, then there is a no need to treat that particular commodity with the gases, and there is no issue of residue.
Thank you. Is there any alternative to ethylene oxide? Any alternative product in your
Yes, sir. Yes,
opinion?
yes. Botanical pesticides are there as a direct neem-based pesticides.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So I'll take up some questions now. What is residue management in context of organic farming?
Hello.
Yeah, sir, you could listen to the question. I'll repeat it. What is residue management in context of organic farming?
No, madam, it's not clearly audible to me, or not. I am not unable to understand the question. Hello.
Dr. Dinesh is asking what is residue management in context of organic farming?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. That see residue management. What that A to Z principle, or A to Z that concept I have narrated. These are the residue management is the residue in first of I clear that the residue that I consider, that is the chemical and pesticide residue available in the farm produce, that residue I am consider as your question, right, sir? Madam?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Ha. So see, there is no only one solution. There should be a integration of many aspects to reduce the residue. First of all, that in organic farming, there is a only one option is that the instead of chemical fertilizer, we are recommending the organic inputs. But in organic inputs also, there are so many uh, ingredients are there. They can directly or indirectly enhance the that residue, because like we can say they are using city compost. Of city compost itself a mixture of industrial waste. Not in all cases, but in some in one particular time there is a industrial waste pollution in particular dump area. There is a any chemical pesticide industries are there, or in dyeing industry or in textile industry, their waste is dumped at their particular site. And if they are preparing compost from that city waste, that has many residues in the that compost itself. And that city compost, many organic farmers are using that city compost as a manure. So there should be a check for the use of outside inputs. That's why I suggest regenerative farming, or uh, uh, is the best option to produce the on-farm organic input. If we are purchasing from outside the farm, that have on that we don't have any check. Another one is the irrigation water, because irrigation water is withdrawal from the tube well or canal. In canal, there are possibility to adulteration or availability of, suppose in riverside, suppose catchment area, there is farming activities going on at the riverside area. And during rain, that chemical pesticides are coming into the canal water, and that irrigation water is utilized by organic farming. That is also one of the possibility to add the residue or chemical pesticide residues from outside from their organic field. Another one is tube well irrigation, or any other method of irrigation. That also in many area groundwater is also become polluted. That also creates residue, add the residue into the organic farming. So organic farming, there is it nowadays it is not just certified the land, piece of land, 10 acre, 50 acre or 100 acre land certification is not solution is not that only to certify the land, but surrounding to that organic farm, what are the possibility to adulterate that particular farm certified as organic status, that should be surrounded farm also to be inspected or to be considered in review to avoid the residual movement of the uh, particular pesticide and fertilizer into the crop.
Okay. And why is residue management important in organic farming practices?
Residue management is the major why, because organic farming itself is a option to get healthy and residue-free produce. If the residue management is, that's why it's a key component in organic farming, because residue management is not only the ultimate solution. Residue, we have to go for root cause analysis, because root residue was just before few minutes, Mr. Joseph said that these are the commodities that are in export. There is a issue of that particular commodity treatment due to that natural gas issues. So in farming also, there are so many problems in organic farming also. So there is a residue management in that sense. If the crop become healthy, soil become healthy, then there is no need of outside pesticide or fertilizer to utilize in the organic farming. And if there is no any chance to add the chemical pesticide or fertilizer into the farming land, then there is no chance of residue. But residue comes after the introduction of pesticide and chemicals or post-harvest practices during export or during processing time. These are the major ways or major outlet where the residues are incorporated into our food channel.
Okay. And how does residue management differ between organic and conventional farming?
In conventional farming, there is a limitation, but in organic farming is just a limited term. Instead of organic farming, I suggest regenerative farming, because regenerative organic farming, there is only in definition, in generalize, they are considered that the organic farming is the farming where the no use of chemical pesticide fertilizer are utilized and few farming practices are followed. But in regenerative farming, better term I would suggest regenerative farming. Regenerative farming is the best term nowadays, because integration of animal husbandry and agriculture all together in piece of land, parcel of land, then fundamental of residue products that will be possible, because integration of animal husbandry in agriculture helps two ways. Agriculture supported with the animal husbandry by their cow dung, cow urine, or FIM production, or to produce farm compost, etc. Then farm produce helps to feed the animals. So at from only both systems are combined together, that can help complementary to each other, and both are symbiotic relationship having together, and both are complement to each other. So there is dependency of outside inputs is very limited or you are not required. So there is minimum possibility of residue. So in that case, organic farming residue management is in better, or we can say with little resources, we can manage residue in organic farming if integration of animal husbandry and agriculture is there.
Voice. And we can't see. Now I can see.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And what are environmental benefits of effective residue management in organic farming?
What are the environmental
benefits of effective residue management in organic farming?
Okay. Yes, environmental benefits are there, because if residue management, if properly manage the residue management is properly followed, then environmental impacts are directly we can manage, because see, if there is a use of chemical pesticide or fertilizer, that helps directly to maintain the environmental in harmony or ecology in harmony, because if there is absence of chemical pesticide and fertilizer in farming land, there is a abundant possibility to grow flora and fauna, natural microbial activity are growing in natural way that helps to get better atmosphere sources, and carbon cycle is also very much possible in the in that, because if there is absence of chemical and pesticide, there is a many microbial activity increasing in the soil, and that can directly helpful to become crop healthier and to tolerate to sucking pest or any kind of hazardous pest or disease attack. The plant itself produce the natural mechanism to sustain over there, and so there is no need of use of pesticide and fertilizer. So in absence of pesticide and fertilizer usage, ultimately the environment can become good for rest of the things.
Okay. And next question is, how does residue management contribute to soil health and fertility in organic farming?
Yes, it's exactly that. Residue, maximum utilization of residue from residue. It soil microcrop, as I said, that is a it's a food for that flora and fauna. From residue, suppose we have utilized properly and to give it to soil, return back after taking our economical commodity for our use or consumption or any economic gain. Rest of the things, if giving back to the soil, that can use as a food for the microflora and fauna, that can helps to increase the microbial activity into the soil become living, live, and that's where the trees or plants get enough required nutrient, and many microbial activities indirectly helpful to get available the unavailable nutrient to the plant can be available, convert into the available form by converting them into the usable form.
Okay. And what role does residue management play in reducing greenhouse gas emissions in organic farming?
Yes, greenhouse gases, as we know that many greenhouse gases are contributed by agriculture farming activities like tilling, use of tractor, use of uh, uh, electricity for withdrawing water from tube well. So these are the all indirectly increasing the greenhouse gases. But by adopting in a principle of organic farming, what I suggested in my previous slides, that minimum use of electricity, minimum or no tillage, integration of animal husbandry, and regenerative farming, plantation of trees and fruit and non-fruit trees from the boundary. These all are the helping to create the ecosystem better for flora and fauna, and farmers get economic yield on their major crop, as well as the trees are growing on their farm boundaries and intercropping. And in fallow land also, if they grow very little less required crop, they can protect both soil as well as they can absorb the carbon dioxide in the soil and other gases into the atmosphere to settle down into the soil, and soil become carbon rich. So ultimately, regenerative farming or organic farming is very much helpful to handle the global warming gases and that issues.
Okay. And what are some common methods used for residue management in organic farming?
Yes, common, first of all, there is the conversion of that residue into the compost. There is the traditional method is many available to make compost peat or to convert the residues, farm residues into the small pieces and treated with the decomposting bacteria and many useful fungus and bacteria that converts uh, organic stuff or residue farm residues into the organic matter and make it in a small pieces and that easily convert into the organic matter and that addition of that residue, properly treated residue into the soil that can add advantage to the soil to increase this, improve the soil physical property as well as biochemical properties.
Okay. And how can how can crop rotation and cover cropping aid in residue management?
Yes, cover crop that already that I said cover crop means that the crop which are cover the vacant land of the soil or vacant land in farming land and crop rotation. Cover crop helps in two ways. One that covers the whole plot with green cover grasses that can help to maintain the soil temperature. That cover crop helps to fix the atmospheric humidity into the soil. Another to maintain soil temperature. So that particular cover crop helps to measure crop by providing proper atmosphere into the root zone and by maintaining proper atmosphere in the root zone, the microbial activity working in full phase that can help to yield boost into the major crop. Another one, the vacant soil cover crop helps to produce organic matter at end of the time when its physiological life is over organic that cover crops that organic matter produced and as a root part add into the soil it can improve the soil physical and microbial properties biological properties and aerial parts of the cover crop use as produce the organic compost and farm produce as a compost that can be utilized and another one that intercrop helps if combination of monocot and dicot, legume and cereal, combination long duration crop, short duration crop, space planted crop, narrow distance required crop. That kind of different combination can help to uh, sustain crop both first major crop as well as intercrop. A crop and B crop both are beneficial. Suppose legume crop growing along with cereal crops. Legume crops fix the atmospheric nitrogen to the soil and cereal crops bound the topsoil so that can help the porosity into the topsoil and both are get benefited by mutual benefit. That's way that the intercrop and cover crop both are great, helpful in organic farming.
Okay. And what is the role of composting in managing agriculture residues? Or agriculture residues
Yes,
organically?
composting. Okay. Role of compost.
Composting.
Hello. Yeah, role of composting. Yeah, very true. Composting, yeah, because composting should be in proper way and scientific way. Because composting, just throwing the residue at outside the farm or at a particular site and that can become get decomposed. It's not possible. It requires some systemic and scientific method or SOP to be followed to convert farm residue into the organic matter. So for that, there are many scientifically proven methods are available to convert that farm residue into the compost. So according to available resources at farm, farmers can adopt that particular practices But major aspect or major points to be considered in while following the making compost, that there should be, that whole process should be under shade or under trees or under a net house, like that structure it should be followed. Another one is direct sunlight is not helpful, or even that can harm to the microbial activity of the compost making process. So it should be under the natural shade area. That what I recommend. And then cycle of that particular compost making and addition of decomposting bacteria is very much necessary and required. Addition of zaggery, cow urine, cow dung. So other than only residue, we have to add few things also, and that are easily available at farmers field, and with farmers also it's easily available. Incorporation or integration of these other inputs make to prepare compost better. That is the required things.
Okay. And how can mulching be used effectively for residue management in organic farming?
Yes. Mulching, as I said, there are two kind of mulching, a live mulching and a non-living mulching. Living mulching means I say that crop residue, suppose papaya crop growing by one particular farmer, that papaya crop is a space planted crop. In that particular papaya crop, there is a two kind of mulching we can provide. One is plastic and the non-woven material, and another is farm residue mulching. Farm residue mulching is that I say I am recommending that, because farm residue mulching helps too. That has no cost because it is already produced by farmers on farm by themselves only. Another one is living mulching, that it has some lifespan, limited. It's a period of time. It can provide mulching to the soil, and after a few months, it will get itself become decomposed, and it directly add to the soil properties, and it increases the carbon content in the soil. So farm residue are the major source of mulching available at farm with very low cost or very negligible cost. So using farm residue in mulching is the best option, and that we should recommend, and we should uh, disseminate the information to among farmers to use as much as possible dry mulching, dry stuff or dry residues in mulching.
Okay. And just two more questions. What are the main challenges faced by organic farmers in managing crop residues?
Major challenge is that I suggest that, there is a lack of proper scientific know-how to convert a residue into the usable form in organic farm, and proper SOPs. They don't have, many farmers don't have the proper SOPs to convert from residue into the organic farming. So we have to educate them for to convert the organic farm residue into the compost or use as a one of the key components of organic farming. So know-how, technical know-how, and willingness of the farmer is the limitations to follow in the organic farming, that I understand.
Okay. And what are the economic implications of effective residue management for organic farmers?
Regarding economic implications, there is a, if the residue produced at farm level and if proper managed by themselves, there is no major any economic component is added on that. Only just required things to manage the crop residue at proper time, at right time. That is the major concern, and there is no issue of major cost concern about in the conversion of that organic matter into the organic manure from residue, farm residue.
Okay. last question, how can residue management practices improve the overall sustainability and profitability of organic farms?
Yes, the overall organic farming is main center objective of the organic farming or sustainable farming or regenerative farming is to utilize the minimum resources from outside the farm. Any addition of input from outside the farm, it has cost. So as much as possible to utilize the natural resources available at the farm and recycle and reuse the available resources and integration of animal husbandry and agriculture all together in piece of land and utilization of natural resources with optimum utilization, not overutilization, not underutilization, like water and compost should be optimum utilization, and crop rotation and mixed cropping, silviplastoculture, permaculture. These are the fundamentals of organic farming. Regenerative farming should be followed by farmers to get the proper and remunerative return from piece of land. These are my perspective and these are my views.
Okay. Okay, sir. So I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. And before I end, Mr. Joseph, you would like to ask anything?
Thank you, Rajni madam. Dr. Goswami, is one thing I want to clarify. Now, you have heard of this organic original waste decomposer, OWDC, which was earlier supplied by Dr. Kishan Chandan.
Yes.
It used to cost rupees 20.
Yes.
And by using that, the costs of production, and especially manures and weedicide costs and other things were drastically reduced. But today, unfortunately, this waste decomposer is not available easily. And if it is available also, it is costing 200 or even up to 500 rupees. But the quality is not assured.
Right.
Yeah. Could you please clarify, is it possible to get a good quality waste decomposer at reasonable price?
Yes, sir. In Gujarat, in our agriculture university, there are 4 agriculture university. Out of 4, Anand Agriculture University is preparing the waste decomposer, and they are selling at very reasonable cost. If required, or if anybody is required, then I can share their contacts of that agriculture university people, and they are maintaining the quality. Here in our area, many farmers and many farm holders are utilizing that particular waste decomposer from agriculture university.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Anand. Thank you, Rajni madam.
Okay. Okay, sir. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for a detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth. So we'll be ending this meeting. And thank you, Dr. Dinesh Goswami, and thank you, Mr. Joseph Brito.
Thank you, madam. Thank you
for attending this meeting. Thank you.